Hello, welcome to our second episode of Taking a Springpeek. I am the DM, Michael, and with me today is the incredible Mell, who plays Velki, and the awesome Jericho, who plays Lore. So,
Hello. Hello.
I think we need to get to the important question first. Velki and Lore go to an inn, but there's only one room with one bed. What do you do?
Share the bed.
Good.
Yeah, easy. Lore probably curls up into a little ferret circle anyways, doesn't matter. Relevant. Next question.
No, wait.
They create a heart. Like you know how when cats kind of tuck in towards each other and they make like a little heart shape and their tails are intertwined? That's just what they do.
So I know we haven't really discussed in depth on the sleeping situation when y'all are out camping and traveling, but what is their sleeping habits like, both of them? Are they a back sleeper, a side sleeper? Do they curl up at one end?
What do they even do? They have sleeping bags? Who knows? I mean, some things you just don't think about until you're asked questions.
I'm pretty sure in I think the last session actually, Onates mentioned the tents, but
Onates did mention that he was going to go and sleep in a tent.
Yeah. But every time I make a battle map, it's just sleeping bags.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I figure Velki tends to habitually sleep on his right side, but curled up into a ball.
Fair.
Lore sleeps like a ferret. He sleeps all curled up like a little croissant.
I've never seen a sleeping ferret before.
Cat croissants, ferret croissants.
Yeah, cat croissants. It doesn't matter exactly.
Let me quickly Google that. Ferret sleeping.
I have to Google it.
Oh my god! That is adorable.
They're great, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I love this. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my. No, I gotta get away. I gotta get out of this. I'll be there forever.
You doomed yourself, dude.
I did. I'm gonna have to go look at that again later now. Yeah, no, interesting. I think we probably should figure out the actual sleeping situation for the party when everyone's traveling at night, especially if people are going to be dropping fireworks in the fireplace.
Please, God, never again.
Literally no regrets.
No more.
Lore has no regrets over that at all?
Nope.
Does Lore have any regrets ever for anything?
No, he tries not to regret things.
Fair. Especially when life is so fleeting as an adventurer.
Yeah. I mean, he probably does regret things for what it's worth. But I don't know, you gotta keep going forward, try to amend what you got and what's the problems, but I don't know, you made that choice, you gotta go on with it.
So would he get a tattoo that says no regrets? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael. I just really had to get it out.
Technically speaking, with a lot of spells, you could just have a bunch of temporary tattoos. I think I just gave him an epiphany.
Didn't think about that before, but yeah, you're right.
Any disguised self or anything, you could just decide, okay, now I just have this tattoo.
I have disguised self.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
You sure do have that, my dude.
You've used it a number of times to turn into a number of people.
Yeah, it's one of the only good spells that I have, and the first spell I gave flourish to, so I figured I'd use it.
Since all your magic is music based and stuff, normally you'd have to be using your instrument, but I like to imagine for your disguised self you whistle a little tune for it.
He likes his fingies. Could be a whistle though.
Yeah, it's just a little touch. We should ask you though, how does Lore feel about his near-death experience? Nearly crushed by boulders. Well, was crushed by boulders. Literally knocked unconscious.
Just squished a little bit. It's okay. It's fine.
It's fine.
No, it's not fine. No, he does not like it very much. I like that we just literally said no regrets and no regret.
There's at least one regret, I feel. At least one singular regret. No fear, one fear. No regrets, one regret.
Does he blame Kashana at all for that?
No, I don't think he blames Kashana for it, but it definitely doesn't sit like very easy with them. Like, it was a very scary moment, and I know he's a little bit dramatic about it at this moment, but he does not like that.
I think he has every single right to be a little bit dramatic about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get squished, you might as well be dramatic.
I mean, Anatace also has a permanent scarring damage, and he also wasn't very dramatic over it. I feel like in this case, like, Velki feels a lot more responsible for what happened to Anatace, and I feel like in this case, Kashana's probably going to feel a lot more responsible for what happened to Lore.
He should feel responsible. Fuck that kid up.
Yeah, it was partially her fault, but I don't know. I'm not mad at her.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair.
You're not, but is Lore. Probably not.
No, they're not mad at her either. I don't know. Sometimes shit happens, and, like, yeah, it was her fault, but it wasn't, like, the actual, like, didn't do it on purpose to, like, to like, purposely harm him, and so it wasn't, like, her fault. Like, it was, like, an accident.
Would they be more upset if it fucked them up more? Like, they got... Yeah. Like Lore got a lot of treatment for it, and it seems to be in a place where it's manageable. But if it never got to that place, would he be more likely to be more upset about it or more blaming?
It's very possible. I still don't think he would blame her per se, but I do think he would more like, I don't want to say hold it against her, but kind of like hold it against her low key.
I mean,
if that makes sense.
You do come from a place where magical prosthetics are a thing, so how much does having a prosthetic, like, would that bother him?
I think, okay, I've thought about this, because the fucking poor Historia family.
Yeah. Has Lore said in-game the situation with his parents?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. I can't
he said
remember.
It to Velki when Velki was telling his story.
Right.
Yeah, yes. When Velki was having one of his moments.
Phrase it like that? Wow. Jeez. I mean, you're right, but like, I can't believe you've done this.
I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, though, I don't think he would. Words are hard again. I don't know. I don't think he minds the idea of having a prosthetic, but I know it would probably be hard for him, and I feel like he would be really worried about his family being worried for him because he has, like, watched them go through this, essentially. And, like, there's no way getting a prosthetic limb is a great experience. So, you know. Actually, I know it's a bad experience.
And it probably wouldn't be a lot of fun.
Especially with the upkeep and everything. Having to keep up with magic crystals to keep it powered. Though I guess with a foot it might not be as much necessary as like a full arm or something. Might be a little easier, but that is an attunement you need to make. So if you had other equipment and stuff that you wanted to attune to, that makes it a little harder. Yeah.
Ugh, I didn't even think about that. Yes, though.
I never considered that it would be like an attunement item, but I mean that does make sense, but I never considered it.
I mean, we haven't run into anybody yet with one of the prosthetics. So eventually though. But yeah, no, the way it works is you have a crystal that is attuned to an element to make the prosthetic run, and you do also need to attune to it to make it work. The crystal eventually runs out of energy and you need to replenish that, which is why you don't see too much of it in Dawnmark, just because it's mined in Skydusk, so it's way far away. Not like it's impossible, it's just harder to come across. You'd have to like ship it, and shipping costs, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm aware. I live in Canada, where shipping sucks ass.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah.
pay like $40 shipping for my $10 pin.
I could go on about that for a long time because literally it stopped me from purchasing something the other day.
Nip that one in the bud then.
Yeah, we don't need to go there. You're just gonna rile me.
Whereas I just spend money all the time on so many things.
I literally wanted a $12 item. $12 item. Why does it cost $45?
Yes, exactly.
I guess we're not nipping that one in the bud then.
Well, it's like I wanted to get this wooden lantern for Lilo and Stitch, and the lantern itself was just $40. I'm like, awesome, and then the shipping was $80. I'm like, why? It's planks of wood.
Heavy.
What?
That's why. It goes by weight.
It's a tiny thing. I was really confused. I can't imagine it weighing that much, but whatever. International shipping costs. Ugh.
Yeah, the worst part is you can get super around lots of the weight stuff. That's how I basically ship anything. I just fudge the weight, and it's just you gotta make everything light. Which, I mean, obviously you can only do to a certain extent. Like, you can't make items lighter than they are, but if you, like, package them lightly, then the rest of the package doesn't weigh more. Yeah.
Well, that's how Wormwood is getting around their modular gaming table shipping. They can get cheaper shipping if a lot of things weigh over a certain amount. So the packages that don't weigh enough, they're just putting bricks in. And then the shipping is cheaper.
Interesting.
Well, we really, really aren't nipping this in the bud. Come on. Get on with it. How many times do I have to say it?
Okay.
Making me look like a killjoy.
Here's a
We've
question
got a time limit.
Here's a question for Velki. Despite almost the entire party having healing capabilities, does Velki feel responsible when someone gets hurt?
Yes.
Does he feel responsible for even what happened with Lore?
Kinda, yeah. Because there's that element of him being gone for, like, he literally turned around, and when he came back, everybody was gone, right? There's this kind of element inside of him that feels that every single time he turns around, somebody's getting hurt, and it's making him really anxious about needing to keep an eye on everybody. But, you know, when you only got one eye, what are you gonna do? You can't keep your eye on everybody all at once.
He's kind of becoming a daycare instructor, teacher, whatever they're
He's
called.
a baby!
He is the baby of the group, actually. Like, he is literally the youngest person here, as far as I can remember.
Onotace is only like 6 months.
5, I think, technically. Unless it's been a month switchover.
I'd have to go check the calendar we made.
Yeah.
But I can't remember how old Kashana is.
Never asked. But, like, to directly answer you, yeah, he does feel pretty responsible. Like, even in Lore's case, kind of grills him, it grinds his gears a little bit that he couldn't be there. And it's frustrating that he always seems to not be able to be there.
That's fair. I mean, a part of your training was, of course, healing and being there for people that need you. So it makes sense that if you're not there and someone keeps getting hurt, it would probably start really weighing down. But also, what can you do when they run away?
I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't know. No one knows. Maybe they should just stop leaving.
Well, Lore,
He's gonna sit over here and be bad feely. Probably not.
No.
Well, I mean, if Kashana stopped leaving, maybe.
Let's blame it all on Kashana. It's all her fault.
No. He probably would. I don't know. He's got things to do, you know? Sometimes what mostly Onotace is doing is less interesting to him.
That's valid. I mean, politics sucks.
It's a lot of politics, a lot of like gang stuff that you don't really want to be associated with.
Lore doesn't want to be a criminal, and he also is not from this part of the map. Like, politics? No.
valid.
I didn't write this one down, but now that we've got you here, Mel, I did want to ask. Does Velki at all think about the whole situation that the campaign started with the whole princeps? Emmett
every day.
Being missing and Amarda's death?
Constantly. Like, I don't think it's come up in games since they first met Barry, but there's been a couple of instances where he's wanted to ask questions about, Emmett's disappearance and not knowing who to ask or what to ask. Is hard. Because he does feel concern for them. They are, like,
Children.
Well, no, see, this is the thing. He's always really rough about kids in that regard that, kids aren't weak. It's not that because they're children, but it's because he kind of relates to that.
Right.
And he's concerned for them.
He's in a less political sense, the weight of it, but in a very similar situation. They've both lost their parents relatively recently. They're thrown into a new world of politics and having to manage things that might be out of the scope of them at this age.
Yeah. And now they're running off somewhere. Like, he's done it all. And he's really concerned for them. So it's definitely more of he wants to ask questions about them, but because he cares about their well-being more than he does about the political ramifications of their not being present.
Yeah, I mean, the closest the party probably got to being able to ask again was while they were in Arton.
Yeah.
Especially
that makes sense.
Going to the castle. They probably could have gotten an audience. But
I didn't get an opportunity to go to the castle now, so if I had, probably, yeah. But there's gonna be other times, other opportunities, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a game that's very heavily political, whether I intended that or not. I guess I kind of did. Just because I did develop it that way and started it with it. But definitely was the idea so far, at least for the beginning, is more of getting the characters a chance to breathe and stuff before we maybe get into things that are too heavy. Easy things, like a church member destroying an entire town.
Yeah, you sure did just, not start easy, did you? If that's the easy, I'm afraid of what the hard will be.
Here.
How is Velki kind of feeling with that and the fact that we now know Barry, while not directly responsible, did at least have some sort of hand in talking about necromancy, which led to what happened in Haywood?
Bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the easiest way. It's just he feels bad. Feels rough, man.
Is there any sort of difficulty in maybe trusting new clerics that you meet?
Because it hasn't happened yet, I want to say no.
That's fair.
Part of his core values is that he trusts the clerics of the church. He doesn't immediately want to think bad of any of them. They're all in maybe like different walks of life, different situations, but they're all like his brothers and sisters and his siblings kind of deal. They've gone through the same things that he's gone through. So to immediately distrust them would be, in a way, distrusting himself.
Right, because a lot
of them... you know that he's stubborn.
He is. A lot of them have probably come from similar backgrounds of losing family and then joining the church, much like Velki did. Not all of them, obviously. Some just, really connect with the teachings and the lifestyle and want to lead that. But it is very easy to be taken in as an orphan.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I can definitely see the connection where it's like these are people I connect to and I don't want to just mistrust them due to 1.5 maybe bad apples.
He is really confused by the fact that, like, these are some of the first clerics that he's met and they're not great. He's like, well, that's good. I'm so glad.
Well, I mean, there was one that you could have met, but he died.
Yeah.
And then you immediately said he was bad at his job.
No, damn it, Michael. Why would you do that?
Because it's funny to put it that
He
way.
was a terrible cleric.
No, I'm sorry. It's just really funny.
No, it's fine. No, it was really good. The spirit of Velki possessed me, and I could not shut my mouth. Very unfortunate.
Oh. I had a follow-up question for that, but I think we should, since I have now taken a drink and immediately forgot it, we should probably jump back over to you, Lore. This one I do believe came from Mel. What has been your favorite Lore moment thus far?
Oh boy. That's hard because I have enjoyed a lot of things. I know, Hello Fellow Criminals is definitely up there.
So we'll say, I don't want to know what Michael's favorite one is. I want to know what your favorite one is. Because we all know that's Michael's favorite.
If we ever had people making animations, I would love that one.
I feel like we could make animations for anything that he does though, because also causing a ruckus, you could have like animated have it where he's just dropping books and being a nuisance, and then like it flips to being like Kashana being all like badass and being like important, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, though probably both of those are actually high on my list of fun things that have happened so far. I don't know, I'm just enjoying everything almost. Like there's almost, it's hard to pick a point that I actually like is my favorite because I just love all of it. That's a bad answer. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that's a bad answer.
A bad answer, but it's a really broad one.
Yeah, but also Lore hasn't been in the game as long as the others yet. Oh, I mean, technically he'll never be in as long as the others.
Yeah, but he has had some of the funniest moments so far, so...
I don't think into it that much, you know? Like, yeah, it's a broad answer and broad, but like, I don't know. It's just all good. I love him. He's a good bean.
He's a very good bean.
Agreed.
I mean, debatable with the good, but he's a bean.
Morally wise, he might not be good. Though he doesn't want to be a criminal, so I think that sets him above at least some other people.
It's morally gray. Even the concept of not wanting to be a criminal is kind of morally
I've
gray.
Been wondering this for a little while now. He carries around his violin. What does he use to carry it with? Is it a hard case? Is it a soft case? Is it just like tucked in a bag?
He strapped to his back like a battle axe.
It's just strapped to his back.
Okay.
It's true. This is true. I have thought about it, and I think I drew it once. He keeps a bow on his hip, like a little clippy clip. That one probably has a little.
Me. Sorry,
I did try to.
I just remember that. I was like, oh, I should remember that. And he drew that last.
Yeah, he has his bow on his hip, and then he has his long sword on his like across his back, and then as an X is got his violin over it, so then it's like back. But he uses his violin all the time, so I don't know. Cases are lame. He probably had one when he first got into music and stuff, but it's gone. Who knows where it is? It was too heavy, so we just stopped carrying it.
I can imagine that. Cases can be extremely heavy, and even though they're designed to carry things, it's sometimes a little cumbersome.
Yeah, well, and soft cases are a butthole, and I would rather die than carry a soft case.
I don't even know.
As somebody who, so I like tried to learn Kadar 3 different times, and we switched between the hard case and the soft case. And the hard case, even though it weighed like 400 pounds, was so much better because the soft case was just like a wet sock.
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
I've been trying to figure out what to keep my ukulele in, and it's just like a hard case would be better, but I could carry it, like if I got the right kind of soft case, it can be worn like a backpack, and that's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah. That is nice.
Can confirm, though, that hard violin cases are not that heavy.
I don't
know.
Are there
and mine actually...
cases?
Pardon?
Are there soft violin cases?
I don't know, but I do know that mine is a hard case and it also has a strap, so I can sling it over my shoulder.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, the one that I had when I was a wee bab was also a hard case. For what it's worth.
I did a quick Google search. There are soft cases, however, I don't feel like I would trust it.
Yeah, because it's like a wet sock.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
With a violin? Ugh. Those are very delicate instruments.
Yeah.
This is our first time with you on this show, Mel, since it's only our second. We should probably ask you what inspired Velki.
Music.
Hell yeah.
Well, then I guess we can go straight into what outside media inspired Velki.
Well, so like a lot of things inspired Velki. I actually made Velki just probably about a year ago. Actually, it was when I was staying at Michael's house for quarantine reasons because my dad was coming back into the country and he needed to stay at home and I couldn't be with him. So I was allowed to stay at Michael's place with him and Callie. And it was when we were kind of discussing creating characters and stuff. And my main inspiration for Velki was that I literally just wanted to make a cleric, and I wanted to make a cleric that had a lantern.
Which was super funny. Because I was actually planning, like, while you were making it, I knew you were making it while you were staying over. I'm like, okay, this will be a good chance to talk. And I was thinking, so this world has the demon blight, and the clerics are the ones that protect against the blight during travel, if you can afford it. And I was like, well, how do they keep them away? I'm like, oh, you know, it'd be really cool visually as a lantern. That, just like the light being able to keep them at bay. That's such a good, like, visual concept, and I love it. And then you came at me with, so I think he's going to have a lantern.
It's like, is that possible? Is it possible to have a lantern? Just for fun. And it was, turns out.
Oh, was it ever? And I'm just like, there's no way this just happened.
But it did.
That wasn't the only time this happened with the Velki and the church and everything. There have been a couple of times
It's not.
You mentioned something, and I'm like, well, that's actually already in my notes, so
Just,
there you go.
We crossed our wires at some point. I feel like that 2 weeks that I was there, it was just a lot of wire crossing.
I also needed your help a lot with the church in general because I'm not a very religious person. So, how do churches work? You are also a lot more knowledgeable on the Greek and Roman gods, which the pantheon of Springpeek is definitely inspired by, not directly.
I adore religion, no matter what religion it is. And it's not because I'm a religious person, but I feel a lot of... for people that do practice, I love that for them. Because it's really nice to see when people have something that they believe in so hard that it just becomes a part of who they are in every aspect. Beyond that, I love what we consider stories now, mythologies of ancient dead religions. I love that stuff. Babylonian, Egyptian, Greek, Roman, all of those things. I love them. I adore them. They're great. But
yeah, so needed a lot of help from you on that. So anything that goes on with the religion, everyone can know, Mel helped a little.
I said some words at some point.
Yeah, you said some words at some point, and that put me down a path on how this all worked. And wherever that may lead, as other characters have other gods that I was not planning from the start.
Hey, at least you kind of had a slate to work with.
Yeah, no, and now I've got a lot. I've since you now have that book that I didn't plan for in the beginning of all the gods, at least basic knowledge of the 10. I'm slowly building out the entire 10 gods of Springpeek and getting information and imagery and stuff for them. So hey, if anyone ever wants to pop in that book, we can see what's there.
Hell yeah.
I love... my favorite part of D&D is lore. The character and the concept.
Agreed. Boom.
Knew you were gonna say that.
It's his favorite joke. He says it a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
The name is just perfect for it. It really is.
It's a good joke. It's good.
Should probably get this one in for both of you. What do you enjoy most about roleplay?
Everything.
Yeah.
I get to not be myself, which is nice. So sick of me.
hat, though. It's fun. You're gonna just, I don't know. It's good though, you know, not in like a bad way, you know, like
Yeah,
you gotta,
definitely. Yeah.
You gotta like real your your OCs and your characters become like a fully realized creation. You know, it's the most direct way to like bring them to life, literally.
Yeah, like my favorite thing about creating anything at all is the interaction that I get with other people. Like I can't, or well, I can, but I specifically like feel like I lack a skill where I create by myself. I prefer to be able to create with a group of people, and role-playing D&D, all these kinds of group things that I'm a part of, they really help me feel like I'm creating at my best capacity. I love bouncing off of other people, and it's like the perfect way to do that.
I totally agree. A big reason I enjoy this so much is just the story we get to tell together. I do a lot of writing, obviously, on my own, and while I'm very proud of what I've written, I think the most fun is when we're creating this story together in the moment.
Yeah.
Whether it ends up being good, bad, funny, sad, it's always something new and enjoyable and something I can look forward to. Because I honestly think that generally the best works are done together. When you have multiple viewpoints, lots of ideas able to bounce off each other, that's when like true magic happens. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Love me some collaborative storytelling.
Yeah, it's really good.
The best kind of
I
storytelling.
could never have written anything like what you guys have gone through. I've maybe have put these little like plot points in front of you, but the way you guys have reacted, what you've done with them, and everything, there's no way I could have just come up with all of that on my own in such a nice way. Like, one of my favorite moments, I think, is, and I'm sorry for this, Mel, is Velki's breakdown in Haywood. Because it's something as the first arc, I knew what I was getting into with this. I didn't know exactly how you were going to have him react, and I kind of prompted you a little bit ahead of time, being like, hey, it might not be great, but...
Yep, I was prepared for trauma.
Yeah, I'm like, this is going to be trauma. But even then, like, the raw emotion of him screaming and everyone just being like, well, this is bad, but I guess we go search the town while Velki's having a breakdown. Just...
Him being left behind is the funniest thing that has ever happened.
It's just really interesting. And I feel like as much as... Because the way I would write that personally is you have the breakdown and at least some of the party sticking around to watch it go through and be there for you, but instead, like, it really was almost the entire party just breaking off and being like, well, we got to figure this out now. And that's definitely not something I would have written myself. I also, knowing the characters, would not have had Keiku be the one to hug Velki, which is awesome, because I feel like Keiku especially, like, there was a lot of tension between Velki and Keiku as Keiku's learning society and Velki's cleaning up her messes.
I have something to say on that, if I may interject for a second.
Go for it.
I would say less tension, more general nuisancery. Like, he loved Keiku. There was never a moment where he didn't like her. It was definitely more along the lines of, oh my god, why?
Like, you're the
just
baby,
a general
but, oh my
why?
god, this actual child, basically. Actually, I think Keiku was the youngest.
Keiku was the youngest in terms of years, but in terms of Kenku, she was an adult.
Yeah, she was an adult. Although, I did look up the age of Kenku. I'm like, no, they live longer here.
Don't worry about it. It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
But sorry, continue. I apologize for cutting you off.
Just because there was a lot of, I guess not tension, but at least build up of this relationship where Velki is taking care of Keiku, and then in one of his biggest moments of need, Keiku was there for him.
Yes.
And, like, thematically, that makes a ton of sense. But as a person who would be, like, quote unquote writing the story, that's probably not the choice I would have made. So to have that play out, I think, is the most fun, is just all these different things that I personally could never predict happening come to fruition.
Right. And I did like that Keiku went along with everybody, but she was immediately like, okay, no, we have to go back.
Yeah,
right, like she was
to
trying to... Yeah. She's like, okay, this can wait.
Velki was not okay. The others left and she's like, no, I gotta bring them back.
Unsuccessfully, but like she tried, and that's what matters to me. Like that warmed my heart a lot. I really liked that.
She did end up going back and joining your side of the party, which, again, I did make 2 entrances to that dungeon, and the fact that you kind of both parties entered from opposite ends was just really funny and interesting. Yeah. A lot of fun with collaborative storytelling that I don't think normally comes about in just single person narrative, which is not like, I don't think, an actual term, but
yeah,
that's why roleplay is really good. I also personally like to play a lot of different characters with different personalities and traits.
I'm glad that you enjoy that, because that's like the hard part of being feel is if you're not good at that, then, or you're not comfortable with it, then it kind of puts a damper in your experience as a DM.
Like, I don't know if I'm good at it or super comfortable. I'm terrified every time. But I'm just so excited to see what you guys do with these characters that it kind of leaves me in the moment, and then I freak out until the game starts.
Right.
Though I am personally always terrified of Risen, because I can never remember how to do a southern accent in the moment.
And yet you cannot stop.
I can't stop once it happens. It comes out. But like, as we're leading up to it, I'm like, how does this work? How do I talk? And then it happens, I guess. But every time I think we go back, they kind of lose it a little bit. Maybe. I don't know what I sound like when I'm talking. I think, like, in general, my first few things with roleplay, I definitely wasn't able to get into character as much. The voices weren't there. And then this past little while with, like, the last campaign I was in this one, I think I've been doing decently on getting into character.
Yep. I would agree with that. Like, fully. Watching you grow as, like, somebody who can at least slip into a different person. Even if it's not always in the voice, it's in... the wording and the action.
I can at least get their personality down every time. Which I guess would make sense, because their personality is what's in my head.
Technically, yeah, you don't have a written format to follow.
No, I don't. It's just whatever is... Like, I just have, like, okay, I know what this character is about. I know their wants and desires. I know how they act. And that's mostly just what I think about all the time. Especially, like, Skryia, because we talked about it last week, how Skryia is probably my favorite to play. We spend so much time with her now that it's just like, okay, I know this character. I know what's going on with her.
Like, I feel like I know her too, and that's important.
A lot of times it seems that NPCs you don't expect to make a big impact tend to.
I guess. Like, did you really think Skryia wouldn't make an impact?
Kind of. I mean, I feel like the big impact came mostly from the way Velki returned to art with not necessarily intended anger, but that's definitely how Skryia had initially took it.
Right.
And then how much your back and forth went over the next couple days there. I feel like she kind of became a more fully realized character and made more of an impact, because like the initial concept of her was I knew who she was and what she was doing, but it was mostly just a means to give you your missions and direct you to like the initial storyline. Where you went after that, I didn't really have planned out, but now we kind of have, in sort of a actual friendship or mentorship.
Velki would die for Skryia, just so you know.
Wow. Well, hopefully it never comes to that.
I say that like he wouldn't die for any of these people, but like he loves Skryia.
Speaking of dying for people, Lore.
Oh god.
How does Lore feel about his relationships with everyone in the party?
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah, tell me one by one. Who are they?
One by one. How does he feel about them all?
I don't know. Would he die for any of them? I guess maybe is what Michael was getting at. I don't know.
Yeah, like would he die for any of them? Considering he did almost die for someone, not for someone, but because of someone.
Mean. I Josh. I kid. Ugh. He likes everybody, but he wouldn't die for them. There's not a lot of people he would die for. Like, no offense. Rip Velki. I'm different.
Velki hasn't tried to die for anyone yet.
Valid. No, he likes everybody though. I know. Me and Mal have talked about this a lot. That I don't know if well, I do know. He wishes that him and Velki were like better. He just wants to be his friend, but you know, he keeps getting. It just keeps getting disrailed, and like, it's not anybody's fault. It just is kind of what happens when there's two people who have different like ideologies and different thoughts and opinions. He just wants to be his friend, though.
Velki 100% agrees.
One of your first conversations was talking about how you were technically from feuding provinces, but look past that and judge everyone on personality.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you haven't had a chance to really talk since then, unfortunately.
No, and all of the times that we have had talks, it's been heated.
It's because it's always right after something stupid happens.
I was gonna say it's not my fault that stupid things happen, but then I realized it is directly my fault that stupid things happen.
It is always Lore getting the stupid thing. And I love that for him. I love that for me. Velki can fuck off. He doesn't matter. What about the rest of the party? I want to know everybody.
Yeah.
He loves everybody. Obviously he's got probably the best relationship with Kashana right now, but he's a little bit impressionable, and they kind of, like I said last week, that they became kind of a dynamic duo quite fast, and so she persuades him a little bit, and that's just because he wants to be her friend. He just wants to be friends with everybody, but he likes everybody. I love that he bonded with Anates the other time. That was good. He just wants to be everybody's friends, and so he just wants to like hang out with Zintrust more, and that's why they try to keep getting Zintrust to come with them, and like just casual like sit with him and stuff. Like he just wants to like these people. Yeah.
No, that's fair. It can be difficult apparently since he has trouble trusting people. I think the most he's opened up to anyone was teaching Keiku how to read.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, that stopped, but I guess Keiku is at least somewhat adept at this point now that she is taking care of a child.
Hopefully she can read a little bit. Hopefully she's learned a little bit more since then.
She probably has.
Zin kind of opened up more last session as well.
He did, yes.
Like when he stayed up for the morning breakfast thing. Like he was awake and they had a chat, and like that was probably the most that I've seen Zintrust talk like on the same level as Anates and Velki as well, even though they've known each other the longest. So that was really cool. Like I like seeing him open up more.
What are Velki and Lore's opinions on Zintrust being a for-real criminal? Not that we've seen him be much of a for-real criminal on screen, it's just mostly implied.
Yeah, like Velki hasn't actually seen Zintrust do anything illegal, except for like breaking in that one time.
Yeah, same though. And Lore did not see him break in that one time.
Well,
So I guess it depends entirely on the situation.
That's fair.
Criminality-wise, I don't know. Velki hasn't really seen it, so...
Yeah, no, I agree with that too, because like, Lore doesn't really have a huge opinion on that specifically, and like, the implications of it, he does kind of just look past. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so thank you, Nate. I know I can't do anything about it. I guess I can try to turn everyone down. That's always how these are, unfortunately. People are always louder than me, but I can't hear them if I turn them down.
Why can't we live with subtitles?
Oh my god, that'd be great. I can try to turn you guys down, but then the music also gets quieter. If anyone can even hear the music, I'm still playing with that. You're on the same audio level, like audio input. But we mentioned that, or at least Mel mentioned. Yeah, see, is there music? Exactly. I'm still trying to figure that out. Mel mentioned how your talks have been heated since it always tends to be after doing something stupid. Aside from drinking blight juice, what's the most dangerous thing Lore's done?
Like with the party?
Not the party, but just like in general
in
life.
General. Oh boy, howdy. I have no idea. I have not thought about it that much. He's probably done a lot of dumb things, though. You know, especially just with traveling and like briefly getting to know strangers and then like fucking off the next day, kind of thing. I don't know, shenanigans. I have to come back to that because I have not thought about that, unfortunately.
Sure. No, that's fair. I mean, this is a good time to think about it. If it's going to become a trend, I guess you could keep mentioning things that you do in game. I would personally say, well, I guess Kashawn is the one that threw the firecracker in the fire, but that's a pretty dangerous and stupid thing to maybe do.
I love that. I'm sad that that wasn't my idea because after she said it, I was like, yes. But part of that was just me, Jericho, dying to use these fireworks. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, but you also have a limited supply. I guess you could easily like find more maybe, but currently you do have a limited supply, so you don't want to just waste them all.
No, I'm gonna find more. Just you watch. Just wait. That's gonna be one of the things on my list now that when we go to like different towns, it's gonna be like books / libraries / fireworks.
/ bookstores. Library / bookstore.
Problematic as hell.
I was actually mentioning, I think I mentioned it to you, Mel, that'd be really funny if Anna Taste and Velki tried to go back and it was no longer a bookstore. It just like
you did
sold and lent out tools all of a sudden.
Same character.
Same person.
Different. It was Michael's own Wilfred's Wily Wares.
Ah, yes, yeah.
That would be good, actually.
I mean,
but if Michael had taken that away from Velki, he would have cried. So.
No, yeah. I mean, I feel like you probably could have still returned them. It's just a really funny image to me where it's like, where did they get these books? All I see is this store called Tools.
Generic.
Just tools. I mean, the library was just called Books.
Yep.
So, yeah.
It's the only descriptor you need, you know? If you're looking for books, just look for books, yeah.
Yeah, just books. Just, that's what you need. Yeah, that's what you're looking for, that's what you get.
Sometimes it's the easy route.
Yeah. I kind of had this thought earlier today. What nickname would you give to everyone else in the party? Like, what would your character nickname everyone?
Oh, God. Is Velki the kind of person to give nicknames?
If not, that's cool. I'm just kind of curious.
I have to think about it for a second.
I don't think it was intended, but like Zin is technically a nickname since his name is.
Because I feel like Matt called him Zin first, or Callie did. I don't know, but it kind of stuck.
I mean, it's really good, and kind of also I think helps with him leaving his past behind by shortening his name up.
Fancy boy name.
We'll just call Lore Lolo.
That's actually pretty fitting.
I like it. I'm so bad at nicknames. Oh God, I can't even think.
I'm bad at names in general.
It was like
all my hates it. That
all my thoughts
Shauna
just
calls him
went
Velk.
away.
Fucking God. He hates it so much.
Call her something like Shaw. I don't know. Shorten her name.
Hey, Shaw.
I mean, I should definitely save what my phone autocorrects Onatase's name to and just drop that in every now and then. Because it keeps changing it. It doesn't want to stick with Onatase no matter what I do. So...
You don't
okay.
write it enough.
Apparently.
I misspelled Kashana once, and now my phone autocorrects Kashana to be misspelled. So...
No.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely nicknamed parts of the party the Blue Man Group.
Yep.
Yes, you did.
They're all blue. All those men are blue.
Yeah,
in some way.
It just occurred to me, like, and I feel bad because it came to me when you were having this heartfelt talk out by Applebee, and I'm just like, oh my god, they're both blue. Well, the party returns to the Blue Man Group.
Like, Onatase is gray, but he has blue in him.
And it's a blue-gray.
Ventress wears a blue sash, so, you know, it's gonna just the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, the Blue Man Group. I think it was funny, especially since, like, you're already making real-world references with Applebee.
Love Applebee. She's perfect. Great.
I'm glad she didn't die. Right
Michael,
after
I just gotta say, I probably would have come over and kicked your ass, full stop.
Yeah, same. I know where you live, Michael.
Like, middle of the... I wouldn't even care. I would just leave the session, catch a cab, kick your booty, come back, and be with the bee.
Just be like 20 minutes later, you just hear the, like, door swing open, and it's just Mel kicking your ass.
That's terrifying. That's happened to me when I streamed before.
Pretty corner roundabout kick your ass.
Was it during D&D when Callie literally muted herself and then came over to my computer and beat me?
Multiple times. Yeah. I feel like
terrifying.
That happened. Yeah, that's happened a few times.
That's actually hilarious, though.
Question for you, Mel.
What's up?
What is your favorite banner so far?
Art-wise, I'm very fond of the one that I recently did of Velki because I like the way I painted it.
Okay.
Subject-wise, the hug.
Okay. Well, let us take a look at the one of Velki here.
But, like, I just gotta say, the new one, big fan.
All of them are so good. I like how you painted it. I know I've told you, but like, frick, I really like your wolf one.
The wolf one's
really good. I forgot about my wolf one. Yeah, I really like the wolf one too.
I currently have
that was something that I hadn't done before. I don't draw animals very often.
One thing I really like about the Velki one here is the way you did his hair. All the colors within it is just absolutely gorgeous. Like
rainbow.
Yeah, it's just it reminds me of Pocahontas's paint with all the colors of the wind.
Yeah.
Like it's just very much that feeling where like it's such a sad moment and it's captured very well in Velki's face, but it's also very beautiful the way you've portrayed it.
I mean, like, my dumbass is sitting here, like, he's not trans, but, like, trans rights for this banner.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. All over the place. It's great. I feel like we're gonna need, like, bi-colors for Kashana at some point. I don't know if anyone else has canon sexualities.
Onatace does.
Yes.
Non-sexuality, but for what it's worth, and I know I always forget to mention this, but technically Lore is non-bananary.
Right.
Non-bananas.
Non-bananas. No bananas. And Mel, for not having done animals very often, the wolves turned out great.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
It was stupid hard. I did this, okay, so just in case nobody knows, I did this in 3 hours. the day that it was due. Like, I was like, okay, I gotta sit down and do this shit. So I sat down and I did that shit. So that was fun.
So good. You did so good.
Great. Yeah, I can't. Just all their eyes just give so many different feelings.
I really liked the reaction that I got because it was almost this weird sense of nobody knew what to say.
Yeah.
Because like normally you show the banner right before we start and it's always been a character.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, that's
the first
cool.
one
what?
Without the characters.
Like, what is this? Like, it's wolves.
And I mean, like, technically the first one with a character that's not a PC was the Keiko and Delphi running.
Yeah.
So getting a cannon look for Delphi was really nice. I love his pants. I also love
this one also gives me joy.
Yeah, I mean,
this banner sparks joy.
I specifically needed this in the credit sequence because I'm just like, oh, it's just too good. Like, it's just too good. I love the mirroring of their legs and stuff. It's just, they're so nice. Your banners are always a treat.
All of them. All of the banners are a treat.
And I'm going to figure out a way to collage them really nicely.
Luck.
Yeah. Good luck. And then, like, let's take a quick look at the very first one.
R.I.P. me doing the earlier banners and not saving them as a fucking transparent PNG.
Yeah.
I fucked myself up.
Well, thankfully, when I print them, they can't be transparent, so...
Well, I mean, you're right, but, like, for my sanity.
Yeah. Kingdom of Springpeek.
So good. Literally look forward to D&D, but part of it is to see your banners.
And I absolutely try to keep them as secret as I can. Just because I like
He shows Callie all of them.
I do not. I absolutely.
I showed her a few. Yeah, I have showed Jericho a few. I won't lie.
I don't think I've intentionally shown her any.
That's fair.
Intentionally.
There's definitely been times where I'm like, okay, I can't keep this a secret, Jericho. Come over here. I need to show you.
I need to see.
Please.
Oh, because I'm just dying all the time. I'm just like, Mel, give me a little bit of just a little juice. Just give me a little juice, please.
A little piece of salami.
And I mean, like, for the most part, you and I talk about what it's going to be, at least ideas for them. But even I don't really know what it's ever going to look like. I think the only one I really directly influenced was everyone holding the feathers.
Yeah.
That was sweet.
That was a good influence.
Yeah. And of course I had to give descriptions for the Delphi and Theomagnus.
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot about the Theomagnus one as well. That one was fun because it was the first time that I tried using font. Like a typeface instead of using my own handwriting.
It's also the one that's like stands out above all the others because it is a different size so you could fit both figures.
Yeah. They're both very large. Like, in my mind, like, larger personalities, large people in general. So, like, having them squished together, like, putting them smaller just didn't feel right.
No, it definitely wouldn't. The choice of using monochromatic for them is also really, really powerful. Because it... Well, not monochromatic, it's grayscaled. Because things aren't always black and white.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a theme with the Voidwalkers who use both something that is considered very dark and stuff like there's people of all walks of life within that gang, and while the gang maybe isn't a good thing, there's people in there for maybe good reasons, at least things for themselves, like we met the one that Anatace made friends with, where it's just like, I just need to live, and this was the way I was able to live.
Yeah, we kind of saw that with Delphi as well in the beginning, that they mistreated the shit out of him, but it was the only way that he thought he could survive.
And I mean, like, they mistreated him solely because Zin took those rings. Had Zin not done that, that entire meeting would have gone very differently. Which is a lot of the fun of it. The initial plan was to have you guys run into like things going well and him kind of being on their side, and probably contention between you guys and them, and possibly trying to stop this kid from a life of crime where he's pretty content with it. But it ended up going completely differently just because Zin's like, I want to steal something from him.
We sure did. Convince him not to live a life of crime.
Yeah.
Oh god,
and now
that
he's
poor
going to school with a dagger.
He's still living a life of crime, but in a in a happy environment.
No, I don't think
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't think Delphi's living a life of crime.
Look, no, bringing a dagger to school has to be a criminal offense. Like,
It is.
I feel like that's just not okay.
No,
You
it's
get arrested
definitely
if you get caught with a dagger at school. Just saying.
it's definitely not okay, and I'm definitely going to do something with that.
Good.
Just a short story, because I like writing short stories about the characters when I have ideas for it.
Yeah. When are you going to release the one you wrote about Velki?
I wanted to talk to you about that, actually. Not here.
I thought we talked about that like a week ago.
We did, but I had a new idea.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Coward.
So
Do it, coward!
I mean, I could, but I want.
No, we'll talk about it later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, because I think I had a really neat idea for it. Anyway, since we're on Velki's story, here's a question for you, Mel.
I have to release a comic as well. Yeah, what's up?
As someone who spent a lot of time
Coward.
studying his own religion, what are his thoughts on the other religions?
Well, he said it in character before, like in story, that he is pretty open to other religions. He himself can't foresee switching religions at any point in the near future, but he does not discriminate against religious focus. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Because everybody's gonna find their own path and their own thing to believe in. This is what was given to him.
Yeah.
And he cherishes that, and he would expect the same fucking courtesy back, but that doesn't happen. So
You have only met
Thanks, guys.
one other church. You like
no,
Velki.
his whole party just seems to be against him right now.
And I mean, like, also thinking back to when you left Haywood, you came into some nomads of Sympath, and
Yes, we did.
the one dragonborn.
Oh my god,
he
was a dick.
He was a dick to Velki. Oh man, I had so much planned for that meeting, and you guys just sidestepped it. It was funny. One of those times.
Pretty good.
Yeah, like, it's one of those times where it's just like, oh, this is so funny that I planned all this out, and it's just like, nah, we're just gonna go on. Oh, okay. Sure. Go ahead.
I would have loved to see more of that. Like, it would have been really cool to see how other religions treated people like Velki. Especially when he himself, despite being of Shatir, is so open to other people practicing what they want to practice. So, that would have been really funny. Even more so considering what they stand for.
Yeah.
As a church, like Sympath itself.
And knowing that they were going to go to help Sprig and Haywood, did he have any worries about that?
Absolutely. I have wanted to say, hey, can we go back to Haywood so many times, but like there's already so much going on that it feels like it would be butting into other characters' stories. So I'm really waiting for maybe when we're coming back from Freya Noon to see if the party would be willing to stop by Haywood briefly. I know that it's out of the way, but like he really wants to check on Sprig to see if she's okay. Like he thinks about her all the time.
Yeah.
I have a little section in my notebook just for Sprig.
Aw, that's really cute.
Again, a child that he can relate to. He just hates this so much.
Should send her a letter.
Do they have the post up and running?
I don't know.
It's the only reason he hasn't yet. Because he doesn't know if she'll get it.
I guess I could talk about this. When you were trying to help Onates seal his crack. Poor choice of words there.
I was gonna say something worse, don't worry about it. I literally almost said the worst like mix of words ever.
Anyway, when you went to the Three Masons, they had mentioned how they were short on Onates, and that is because shipments from Haywood have stopped.
Yeah, I did put 2 and 2 together there, because we were down in the mine, and very specifically it was mentioned that there was like these huge chunks of Onates down in the mine.
There's also other places in the world where Onates is prevalent, and I do have that planned out, and you could have found out actually within the last few episodes, but it didn't end up coming up, which is always just one of those things where it's like, ah, yes, the dramatic irony of me, the DM. But no, yeah, that was very explicit of the shipments from Haywood stopped, so the Three Masons don't have the supplies. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like that. That's fine, we want him to be gold anyway, so...
Yes, that's
fancy.
That's gonna be a fun character design, I think. Just having the gold.
Oh, I'm ready.
So regal. So very regal. How does Velki feel about Onate's declaration to be king?
I feel like he made himself very clear at the beginning. By laughing in Onate's face.
That's fair.
However, I will admit that things have slowly started to change a little bit, I think.
Onates has had a lot of changes.
He has shown Velki that he is not the person that he thought he was. And in that, I mean that he has grown. Yeah. I shouldn't say that because he was that person definitely before like that. He is that person.
I'm excited for when we can have Rose on to talk about his development.
Oh, me too.
Just because that is definitely going to be an interesting tale. I did want to ask if Velki has thought any more about what Scry has said about wanting one of the princeps to be king or anything.
It's hard to say. and it's hard to say because he only knows one of them, like on a personal level, which is already really weird, as you kind of stated that he's even that close with one of them. But in that sense, and only in that sense, he feels like he has a good grasp on Wilhelm's. So he's like, okay, well, do I want him to be king, though? Don't know. But if you asked him, he would say that, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows him the most. Or he thinks he does, at least. He probably has a different vision of what this man is like compared to the rest of the world. But he thinks that he has the capacity to do it.
Nice.
But now that he's met Onates, it's kind of fun, because he's like, well, what if a rando did just become a king? Like, what is up with that? Yeah. Like, is that possible? Can you even do that? Is that allowed?
I guess
it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I mean, up until now, no one even knew if someone not of royal blood could become a princeps through the rite of the crystal's glow. But your party, with the exception of Kashana and Lore, very specifically know that yes, because Tone's crystal was glowing when you ran into her.
Yep, so, and she's essentially adopted, right?
She was adopted. At a young age, but still adopted. Does Lore have any thoughts on who should be king, or even care about that sort of thing?
I was distracted. He doesn't think about that very much. To be honest with you, I genuinely don't think that's something that he thinks about very often, at all. I mean, and I mean that not in a no thought. I just think he just doesn't.
I feel like it's probably not a thought of like most people. Like, they're not going every day of their life being like, oh man, I really hope my princeps is the one to become king this year. It's probably just this is life. I mean, I personally am never like constantly thinking about who I want to be prime minister.
Yeah, that's kind of how I think about it as well. Where like I just no thoughts,
head empty.
Just head empty. Yeah.
Lore's head is always empty for what it's worth.
Lore has a good head on his shoulders, even if it is empty.
He does.
All he knows is Weasel Smile and exist.
Did you think of a dangerous thing that he's probably done, or do you want to come back to that next time you're on Springpeek?
I'm gonna come back to it next time I'm on Springpeek, because
okay, sure. I'll keep that one around. We'll ask you your other question that's here then. We know that Lore is an avid dancer and violinist, but does he sing as well, or is his barley nature more suited to letting his instrument do the telling?
He does sing, but not for people.
Oh.
He's good at singing. But yeah, he doesn't really sing for other people. He doesn't think that it's as good as his instrument skills, and so therefore he just doesn't do it as much, though it's probably also equally as good. Or at least how I imagine it being. But
is there any other instruments you'd play, or is it just solely violin?
I feel like he could play an assortment of instruments. Fun fact, he was originally going to play the harmonica.
Of course he was.
No, you need to be a brooding character for that.
Well, you never met our art teacher, Michael.
No, I just, whenever I think of harmonica, I just think of Matt from Digimon.
Oh god, no. How could I have forgotten?
He would have been significantly different if he played the harmonica.
Yeah, no
so
kidding.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing or a bad thing. I was inspired by my bastard harmonica that was lost in the mail.
Oh, that's right. R.I.P. harmonica.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting.
Still kind of mad about that. But anyways, I'm glad that I went with the violin because it's my favorite instrument ever. So
technically speaking, no matter what instrument you try to play, your performance is going to be the same. Your performance checks.
Technically,
though I think you technically also use proficiency with your instrument. I think we need to be adding that when you do your performance checks.
Question.
Yes.
Fucking question. So, you said that the performance check is always the same. What if he tried tap dancing a song? Would that count?
I think technically, like, it's still a performance check.
What if he did the spoons?
Yeah.
I haven't played the spoons.
I mean, like, the thing with the violin...
So, yeah, you do have to pick 2 proficiencies, and I forget what the other one is that he has. I can check later. But,
yeah, so, like, when you do your performance with your violin,
proficiencies.
You should be doing your D20 plus your performance plus your proficiency bonus.
Yeah,
which I think
I can
is
do
a
that.
+2 or something. I don't know.
I think that's correct. I can pull it up. But yeah, you can't just be good at everything. You do have the
proficiency.
The proficiencies, as well as like you do have the performance. So it's not like I feel like you're not terrible at it, but you definitely are not as good.
I've been meaning to ask you this, Jericho. I see your Instagram stories before D&D starts. Do you have cards of your spells?
I do have spell cards.
Nice.
They're shitty. I don't know if I've talked about my cards. I do have spell cards. They're fantastic because they say all the spells, but this is why every single time, at least I'm getting better at it for what it's worth. So, but this is why I don't know like what the numbers are on them, because I have none of the numbers. That made no sense. You know when you're like, this person has to make a wisdom check and stuff.
Yeah, it won't be have that on there. Yeah, that's on your sheet.
Yeah, it has none of that on here, and like I get that, but it drives me insane because then I always forget that I have to go from the cards to my actual sheet, and so that's why that happens.
Yeah.
What if you sharpied on the back of the card?
Yeah, you could always just write your.
That's what I've already done. You bold of you to
nice.
You've already done that.
Sweet.
Look, I don't think of things ever, so sometimes it helps.
I don't think. But yes.
This was a question.
I was looking for the proficiencies. He's proficient in the violin, lute, and flute.
Ooh.
Unrelated. Back to the other question. I just remembered.
Question for both of you. This one's open. Was there a trait about your character you decided not to include after some debate on it?
So far, no.
Okay.
Like I can't think of one off the top of my head. Though I do miss when Velki was giggly. That was nice. Imagine not having freshly opened trauma.
Imagine.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
Hopefully he can heal.
Like, have a nap or something.
Hopefully he can heal and be the more giggly version of him again.
I miss him sticking his fingers in people's mouths.
Yeah.
Bring him back to bring Giggle. Oh, let him be giggly again, because then that's how him and Lore can bond.
Maybe Lore has to bring that out of him.
That could be arranged.
He's in pain. It's fine. He's suffering, and it's okay. What about Lore? In Velki, I'm gonna throw him in a fucking locker where he belongs. Put him in a pit. He doesn't need to be here. Tell me about Lore.
I just breathed too hard.
I felt that.
Happens all too often. No, no, not really. There hasn't any traits. I know there's been traits that I have like amplified and dulled down and stuff. Like originally, the character was like he was supposed to be a lot more mischievous. Like that's just how I kind of imagined it. Like no, it doesn't fit the actual like story that I've given him. But then it's kind of thankfully like it's come back.
Yeah.
And it is just because he is kind of impressionable, to like lack of a better term.
I feel like he's less impressionable and more Kashana is bringing it out of him, because before he met Kashana, he was ripping pages out of the books in the library.
Yeah, it's not that it was non-existent. It's just now it's like she's like way more of a catalyst. It would have come out on his own, but like a lot more like subtle. But you know,
yeah,
that's what happens, and I don't regret it, and I'm so happy with how that worked out, kind of thing.
What is he hoping to find in Ruin's Edge?
Answers.
To what questions?
Oh, yes. The ever vague answers. What are you hoping for? Fuck if I know.
I know what he's looking for. He's literally got some shitty notes and a picture of a mural.
Yeah.
That's what he's going off of. So like honestly, he's just hoping for honestly a starting point to figure out what it is that he's supposed to even be looking for. Like he's got like minimal breadcrumbs at this point.
It's true. He's got next to nothing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate how that happened.
Basic stuff. Yeah, it do be like that.
It do be like that sometimes. Sometimes you weren't planning to go on an adventure.
Sometimes you go on accidental adventures. It's fine.
Sometimes you don't plan to walk from Aaron and Eve to Automid.
I mean, there was a boat at one point, for what it's worth. He took a boat.
He did.
He got
that was
on
probably
a boat.
fun.
Yeah.
Probably got to go past.
I feel like he really likes. Like, I feel like he would be a delight on a boat. You know.
Oh, for sure. I
Especially
mean, anyone
with other
musical,
people.
like sea shanties, get all of those.
You know that's my shit.
Yeah. You probably actually had some people on there that could also play instruments and had a lot of fun.
Mini band. Oh man.
Jericho, we should plan, if we ever go on a ship, you and I should do a duet together. Like for this so Lore and Velki can sing.
You better damn well go on a ship eventually.
Yeah, I hope you go on a ship.
You better. Oh my god. That pissed me off. Sorry, just thing with Onotace. Here's a book on the sea. Meh. Okay. Not that I had to plan on the
Rose know
sea.
that? Does Rose know that you had information in that book?
No idea.
Oh, well, she's gonna find out now.
Yeah, she's gonna listen to this and be like, wait, what? But no, it was...
Excuse me?
Anything I give you is at least, if not important to your quest, is at least world building.
I don't know. You did give me a book about how to camp.
I was about to say, was that important? My vegetable book, pretty important.
All of the answers be in the vegetable and the camping books.
This cabbage.
I mean, if you look through it, I can always come up with some, at least, world building stuff in it.
You know that I will look through it.
Yeah.
You know that I'm not going to look through it. I think I've made it very clear. I was going to feed it to Appleby.
Don't feed the horse a book.
Yeah, she needs some fiber.
Okay, literally, after he gave it to me, I immediately Googled whether horses can eat books or not, and they can.
Yes, I remember
and apparently, the horses will eat a lot of things, and obviously don't quote me on this. This was just a very basic during D&D Google, but apparently horses will also eat live chicks. So I'm pretty sure a horse would eat a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
I feel like they're goat adjacent in that aspect.
Yeah.
It's goat slander.
See, I feel like
did I say it was bad?
No.
No. I feel like lots of animals like that are similar to how deers are technically not herbivores. They're omnivores technically, and it's just because they don't hunt. And I feel like horses and goats are sometimes like that, you know?
It is interesting because they do have they don't have forward-facing eyes, which is a trait.
They do not.
Which is a trait of prey, But like I feel like if a horse wanted to, they could kill everything.
You've obviously never been hit in the face or stepped on by a horse.
No.
They could definitely kill anything they want.
True. Even a tractor.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Horses have and can wreck tractors. I have seen that.
Yeah.
So I used to ride horses. I will stop being so cryptid about this.
Well,
I only know a lot about horses because of my aunt.
yeah, my grandpa had a
weird horse
farm and I had a
knowledge.
horse, but I don't remember it. Yeah. Well, I remember the farm. I don't remember the horse.
I crave horses. Literally, the conversation I was having before coming into this was that I should have a big horse with my friend. That's not even a joke.
Looking at this
She
picture,
literally was like, "I think you need a big horse," and I was like, "Yes, I do."
looking at this picture of Lore here, I could see it doing like a Animorph style transformation into a horse.
Hmm.
I
Not
think it's actually supposed to be a ferret.
Yeah, and I know, like, I see the ferret aspect, but it's like, now that you say horse, I could actually like visualize that happening.
Why the long face?
Yeah, exactly.
I could get behind it, but I just...
No, I mean, obviously that's not the intention. I mean, we don't want that. I just could see it here in the moment.
You're valid.
As we now start getting ready to wrap up, is there any questions you guys have for me?
Oh my god, why'd you gotta spring that on me?
Well, it is Springpeek.
Okay. Okay. One of the questions that I have is, what is the hardest thing about DMing, and then what is the easiest? I don't know if this was asked last time, but I feel like it wasn't.
It wasn't. Last time, I think we talked about just my favorite NPCs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember shit, so I'm sorry.
I feel like the hardest part about DMing for me is keeping the like full narrative in an aspect where it's interesting for everyone involved, because it's interesting to me because I made it, but I want it to be interesting to you guys and to be able to give you little nuggets without just sprouting literally everything that's in my head is extremely difficult, because I feel like the grand scale of it is super cool and exciting, but like when you break it down to small things, it isn't as exciting. Like, you guys have an intro to the gods, or like you have a book that's specifically about this one city in Freya Noon, and as you look through it you get some information, but like there's so much on the large scale that you guys don't get to see, that I feel like I worry that it's not going to be as interesting when you're just getting little bits of it. So that's the hardest part about DMing for me, is just keeping the world engaging and fun and interesting.
That's very valid. I feel like that would be something that I want to DM one day, but I feel like that would be something that would be hard, because I know I overthink characters, and so I'd be like, no, you're missing so much. No.
Because all the other aspects of it, like combat and the role play, we already talked about how like I just really do enjoy falling into all these different personalities. That's not really difficult. I do struggle a little bit with creating encounters that I think are balanced and not a chore to get through. Because it's like, I feel like sometimes the party just absolutely destroys what I put in front of them, and other times they get destroyed when I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So that's...
Sometimes it's very balanced, and sometimes it's like 100 wolves.
Hey, the 100 wolves actually turned out to be very balanced.
Okay, I absolutely love the 100 wolves fight. It was such a good battle, but nothing is funnier to me than the concept of just many of one thing. So just adding 100 wolves is literally the funniest thing. So if I ever joke about it, not because I hate it, I absolutely adored that. I just think that's just my brand of humor. Just many.
As for the easiest / best part, I feel like the easiest part is actually... Yeah, it is definitely being able to do the roleplay aspect with you guys, because I feel like you all manage to bounce off of what I give you very easily. Just like your ability to go with the NPCs, not just Scribe, but even like the guy from, or the person from books, or the nameless seamstress. These random little NPCs, you all manage to really take full advantage of the opportunities that they present to you and talk it out and everything. So that's definitely the easiest part, is just being able to bounce off of you guys. That's probably also the best. Just the interactions we get to do together. It's a world I've created, and seeing you guys play in it's just a lot of fun.
That's so good.
It's so warm.
Soft.
Even if chaos ensues sometimes and I'm not sure what to do.
Cry. Do what I do. Just take a minute and cry about it.
I feel like the hardest moment...
Hello, Velki. Have a hard moment.
The hardest moment for me thus far has been Kashana breaking the cabinet open. That was not something I saw coming. Like, I knew there was stuff in there. I didn't know what was in there in the moment. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, this is going to be a very difficult thing. There's no way she's going to be able to do it. And then she fucking does it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I put through my head all these implications of, okay, now Barry comes. Barry's going to find her. The two and two together of Barry and Lore, or not Barry and Lore, of Kashana and Lore from the previous day. All of that's just going to come crashing down. And then, like, Kashana freezing, Anatace implying that they know who she is, which then implicates Velki. It's just, like, a lot of things kind of came all together in a single moment that I had to, like, very quickly pan out.
Okay, but in your defense, can you ever really predict what Kashana is going to do? Because sometimes I think I know what she's going to do, and I'm on her side, and then she does something not what I think she's going to do, and then I'm like, now I'm here by association.
Half of that is Callie, half of that is Kashana. I guarantee Callie is just a fucking... You're a chaos entity gremlin in and of itself. She is just a shit disturber, and she knows it.
As soon as she explained her plan for Theomagnus and stuff, I kind of understood how that was going to go. When she was the one heading to the rock slide, I knew she was probably going to try to, like, get rid of it. The means of which, of how and stuff, I didn't know, but, like, I'm able to predict her somewhat. But, no, you're right. A lot of Kashana is just, like, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, and then sometimes she's, Eldritch blasting random people who we're not going to rob at all. Nope.
No.
I still don't understand. I do not understand at all how that would have worked. Like,
I don't know
the way that you said, like, she was like, go forward, you were like doing the whole other thing, and I was like, this whole wording. I am frustrated. And by I mean Velki is frustrated. I thought it was fucking funny.
We were on the same page. We were not on the same page.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know anything about that. Like, I thought, like, when she was trying to be hurt, I'm like, did she drop a firecracker? No, you'd have, like, that would have gone off by now. Also, she would have had to have made a stealth check. That's not something I can just let slide of, I did this in the background without you knowing.
Right.
So it's just like, what is she planning to do? And then it was like, I sent an Eldritch Blast. Like, oh, okay, I guess make an attack roll. We'll see how that goes. I said this before, in full disclosure, I would not have hurt them from it. But
Michael, that was the breaking point.
Yeah.
I think Velki snapped. You did it. You did it. Good job. You broke him. I didn't really realize what the breaking point was, but that's the breaking point for sure.
No.
That was just when the camel gave up.
Yeah, the straw broke the camel's back.
He didn't even break his back, he just gave up. He just fucking gave up.
Lays down. Oh.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, but I think we need to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
We could talk for hours. I think our little trio here could probably go on for literal days.
This is why I said you get me and Jericho in a room together and it's chaos. Yeah. Like, especially when it's just like
talk about this.
When we get to piggyback off of each other. If there's other people, sure, but like,
yeah,
this is terrible.
We don't need other people. It'll just be the Jericho and Mel show, and we'll just talk for nonsensical for hours. Kidding. We need other people.
Yeah.
Please don't let that happen.
I mean, you can, but it'll be a shit show.
Yeah, I can't guarantee we won't get actually off track and like not get back on track until like an hour later. So.
But hopefully.
That cat.
Hopefully next week we'll be able to play some more. I'm gonna obviously add everyone to make sure everyone is good for a game next week. If not, we'll probably do a one-shot or something. I'll get that in the works and figured out. So we'll see. But I do want to get back into Springpeek because we kind of ended on a pretty high note last time.
Oh my god, I'm literally dying.
Yeah.
But thank both of you, Mel and Jericho, for being here with me tonight to talk about this game we all enjoy so much. And yeah, I hope we see everybody again for our next session at our next Springpeek, whenever that may be. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.